If you've been watching YouTube videos for as long as I have, then you might have heard about a YouTube channel called Game Theory, a YouTube series about applying science to video games. Love it or hate it, Game Theory is a massive internet phenomenon, but that doesn't mean that the show is always correct. Today I'll be looking at an old Game Theory tackling the question of how much a rupee from the Legend of Zelda series is worth. First, let's find out the problem with the original video. In the video, MatPat, Game Theory's host, uses Ocarina of Time as a baseline measurement. This is flawed because Ocarina of Time is a Nintendo 64 game, and all items or collectibles on that system have to be scaled up just in order to be visible in-game. So let's start by using a measurement from a newer game, Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild rupees also have a different shape compared to the ones in Ocarina of Time, with Ocarina of Time's rupees being a hexagonal bipyramid and Breath of the Wild rupees being a hexagonal bifrusium. This means we can't use the same calculations MatPat used, so we'll have to start from scratch, by first figuring out how big the rupees are in Breath of the Wild. A while back I made a video about measuring stuff in Breath of the Wild, and in that video explained that in Breath of the Wild, Link stands at 140 centimeters tall. So by using Link as a ruler, we can find the three sizes we need in order to get all the math to work. So what we need to do is split the rupee in half and find the size of its front face, its back face, and the distance between them. The front face of the rupee ends up being exactly 20 centimeters long. The back face is 31.8 centimeters, and the height is exactly 4. Now for the math part. First we need to find the geometric mean of the front and back faces, which basically means finding the number that will turn these two numbers into a perfect square. We can do this by finding the square root of these two numbers multiplied together. Then we add the front face, the back face, and the geometric mean together and multiply it by a third of the height, giving us a volume of 100.11 cubic centimeters. Then we just double it because we split it in half beforehand, and we get a total volume of 200.22 cubic centimeters. Now you might be wondering, that's cool and all, but what does that all mean? Well, in the video MatPat made, he said that all rupees are actually made out of corundum, the mineral that both rubies and sapphires are made out of. Sapphires can actually change into various colors depending on the minerals next to it. So even though we usually associate sapphire with a blue gem, they can actually come in green, yellow, black, orange, pink, purple, white, and even red, with the red variant being known as rubies. Point is that the rupees from the Legend of Zelda series are made out of sapphire and not anything else like emerald or something like that. So now we know how big the rupees are and what material they are made from. Now we can ask the big question: how much is a rupee worth? To answer that, we need to multiply the volume by the density of sapphire, being 3.98 grams per cubic centimeter, giving us a total weight of 797 grams per rupee. A sapphire can go for anywhere between $25 and $11,000 per carat. However, the higher end of that range is for different shades of blue sapphires. For non-blue sapphire, the average would be about $100 per carat. So we will be going with that number. However, as I just said, blue sapphires are more valuable than other colors. So for the dark blue tint of the blue rupee, we'll just say that it's double of everything else. With all of this in mind, the total price for a single rupee is $398,500. Now, although this is a lot of money, it's obviously nowhere near MatPat's estimate of $10 million. However, after a bit more measuring, I realized that this number is actually completely wrong. I mentioned before that the reason Game Theory's video is wrong is because they scale things up on the Nintendo 64 so you'll be able to see them. However, they actually do this in Breath of the Wild as well, but just to a much smaller extent. In fact, most items you can put into your inventory are about 3 times the size of their real-life counterparts. So we have to take that into account when dealing with rupees, as they are also an item you can pick up. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather live in a world where you can put a single unit of currency in my pocket than a world where the average carat is 1.5 foot long. So plugging in the new numbers, we get the rupee's height of 10.6 centimeters, a weight of 90.5 grams, and the final price for a single rupee, $45,252.60. So there you have it, the actual value for a rupee from the Legend of Zelda series. But how about we go a step further? In Breath of the Wild, we're able to collect both gold and silver rupees, as well as the regular gemstone one. So if we assume that they're both solid gold and silver, how much would they be worth? To do this, we simply have to change the calculations from using the density of sapphire to that of gold and silver. Silver has a density of 10.49 grams per cubic centimeter, about 2.5 times that of sapphire, making a single silver rupee weigh in at 238.4 grams. However, silver is worth much less than sapphire, making its total value of a rupee at just $205.14. Gold, on the other hand, is nearly double as dense as silver, at 19.32 grams per cubic centimeter, making a rupee weigh 439.3 grams and costing $27,524.45. So even though the gold rupee is way heavier than the sapphire one, it doesn't change the fact that sapphire is worth about 8 times more than it. Oh, and just another quick calculation I want to share with you. During your playthrough of Breath of the Wild, you may come across a guy called Bolson, who runs a construction company. He says he can sell you a house for 15,000 rupees, but ultimately decides on selling it to you for 3,000, along with a bunch of wood that you can collect during your journey across Hyrule. However, if Bolson sold the house at the original price of 15,000 rupees, how much would that be in dollars? The answer to this very simple question is a quite staggering $679,789,000. And I thought houses in the UK were expensive. Before I let you go, I just want to leave you with a final thought. Throughout this video, we've been talking about how rupees are made out of sapphire/rubies, and not anything else like beryl, quartz, or something like that. Now, in gaming and in media as a whole, there are always, if you want to say, the 3 main types of gemstone, being ruby, emerald, and sapphire. We spoke today about how ruby and sapphire are made out of the same material, and it is also where rupees are apparently made from. Now let me ask you this, which of these 3 main types are suspiciously missing from Breath of the Wild? Emerald. Does this give more credence to our theory? Well, that's for you to decide, because at the end of the day, it's all just a theory. A game theory. Always wanted to say that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and all that other fun stuff. But that's it for me for now, and until next time, see ya.